On prom night, my girlfriend asked me, "Why are your pepperonis leaking?" "What do you mean?" I said, confused. "Look at your shirt. Your nips are leaking white. Is that milk?" I looked down and she was right. 2 wet spots were spreading across my blue dress shirt right where my chest was. White liquid was actually coming through the fabric. The spots were getting bigger, and people around us were starting to notice. Brad from my chemistry class nudged his date and pointed at my chest. A group of cheerleaders started whispering and giggling behind their hands. This had never happened to me before in my entire life. The liquid kept coming, and now it was dripping onto the floor. The couple next to us stepped back looking disgusted. Someone actually took out their phone and started recording. "I didn't mean to turn you off," I said, panicking as more people turned to stare. "Freaky time can wait till later. I think we should get you to a hospital." Caroline grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the exit. We had to walk past the entire senior class, and everyone was snickering and pointing. I heard someone say, "Is he lactating?" and another person gagged. The chaperones looked horrified but didn't know what to do. Mrs. Munoz, the math teacher, actually covered her mouth and turned away. Caroline drove us to the emergency room in her dad's car while I kept napkins pressed against my chest. The napkins soaked through in minutes, and the liquid started seeping through my jacket too. It had this weird, sweet smell that made my stomach turn. Caroline kept all the windows down, even though it was freezing outside. When we walked into the waiting room, everyone immediately noticed the wet spots on my shirt. A little kid pointed at me, and his mom pulled him closer while giving me a disgusted look. An old man actually got up and moved to a different chair farther away. A teenage girl took one look at me and ran to the bathroom. The security guard started walking toward us like he thought I might be dangerous. The receptionist at the front desk looked up from her computer and her eyes went wide. "Can I quickly see?" she asked. I lifted my shirt, and she physically recoiled in her chair. The liquid was now running down my stomach in small streams. She hit some emergency button, and suddenly nurses appeared from everywhere. "I'll have a doctor examine you immediately. It appears you're somehow lactating." They put us in a small room that smelled like rubber gloves and hand sanitizer. A nurse came in and took my vitals but jumped back when more liquid squirted out and almost hit her. She left without saying anything, and we could hear urgent whispering in the hallway. 20 minutes later, Dr. Lewis walked in looking at his clipboard. He was this older guy with gray hair who'd probably seen everything. "Let's take a look," he said, putting on gloves. He pressed around my chest, and white liquid actually squirted out. His face went pale. The stream hit the wall and started dripping down like something from a horror movie. "This isn't possible. How is this happening? Hold on, I need a second opinion." We waited over an hour in that tiny room. Caroline held my hand, but I could tell she was freaked out too. The wet spots had spread so much that my entire shirt was soaked. The liquid was pooling on the floor under my chair. A janitor came in to mop, but took one look and left immediately. Finally, a younger doctor came in with Dr. Lewis. She introduced herself as Dr. Patel. 2 more doctors followed behind her, and a group of medical students crowded in the doorway. "May I examine you?" she asked. The moment she pressed on my chest, the white liquid shot out and hit her right in the face. She immediately turned and threw up in the sink. Caroline ran to the corner and threw up in the trash can. One of the medical students fainted. The smell of vomit mixed with the sweet smell from my chest made me want to puke too, but I held it down. "We need x-rays immediately," Dr. Lewis said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "They rushed me to radiology in a wheelchair because I was getting dizzy. The tech took multiple x-rays from different angles, then told me to wait. I sat there in that cold room for 30 minutes with liquid still leaking all over the x-ray table. Dr. Lewis came back holding the films. He held them up to the light and started laughing. Not a small chuckle, but actual deep belly laughing. He called 2 nurses over and showed them. They started giggling too. Then Caroline came in, and even she let out a nervous laugh when she saw the x-ray. "What is it?" I begged. "What's wrong with me?" Dr. Lewis finally caught his breath. "You need surgery right now. You came just in time or this could have killed you." They prepped me for emergency surgery, and I went under not knowing what they were going to find inside me. When I woke up 3 hours later, my chest was wrapped in bandages and everything was sore. Dr. Lewis walked in holding something with tweezers. It was a long, thin needle about 3 inches long. "5 years ago, did you get acupuncture done?" he asked. My mind raced back. "Yeah, I'd gotten it for back pain from this sketchy place that closed down a month later. This needle went through your back and traveled through your body. It lodged between your lung and chest wall. Your body created a cyst around it that finally ruptured. That wasn't milk coming out. It was pus." Caroline kissed my forehead and told me, "It's okay. I'm into guys who breastfeed."